So at this time, Lisa, if I can step up.
Thank you. I know almost everyone's heard of Parts on the Air, Pota. And so I wasn't gonna go through the whole thing of how to register and this and that. But I just wanted to show my setup and some of the different antennas that I have. So this is an 891 and I have a Bio battery here, and I could hook it up to any number of things depending on what the park is. Some parks have picnic tables and pavilions, and some you have to stay in the car because there's no place to be. So I have a lot of different setups. So we'll start with, if I have to sit in the car, this is a jackkite pole. It's for kites, it's not for radio, but it works fine. And it goes up, this one goes up 31 feet. They have other ones that go up a lot higher than that. So I have a hitch mount on my car, and I can put it in this, and then run the coax around, and back in the car if I have to sit in the car. This is a mount that I can stake in the ground. So if I want to, up at Honeymoon, what I'll do is I'll back the car up to the picnic table that I want to sit at, and then I'll put this up and run the coax to the picnic table.
Now, is that the actual antenna, or you put a wire on that?
This is the antenna. This is just the mast. This is a 40 meter, it's 10 antennas. I bet I got it on eBay. It's like 20 bucks. So
Is that end fed or?
it's an end fed.
Okay.
So, also if I want to stay in the car, these are all my ham sticks. So I can put those on, and this is an extra piece because the tops of these tend to break off, so I bought an extra piece. That's what this yellow thing, orange thing is. So I have, 10, 15, 17, 75, 20, 40, and I can put this on the hitch mount on my car, or I can put it on top of here and, take that off. So if I wanted to do that, this is a Faraday cloth here. I didn't put it out all the way because it's too long. I didn't want anybody to trip. But a lot of people put like window screens, or the legs of this are metal. So I don't need a clip to clip from here on to get that as the ground plane. This is I made this. It's like a Wolf River coil. It's for 20 and 40. So that's another option.
Where do you get this cloth from, Lisa?
eBay or Amazon. I think I actually got it from Amazon. I put some little weights in the corners, some little curtain weights, so it didn't blow around.
Does that make a big difference using that?
Well, it's all the same. It's not like fabulous. It depends on where you are and all of that. It works. I think it's easier to roll up than the window screen.
The mast there, is that telescoping or so?
Yeah, it goes up 31 feet.
31 feet, okay.
And they have, what's the one that you have?
Spider beam.
Spider beam goes up 40 or something like that. So I seem to, well, when I use a mast, I get better reception because it's higher. It's just, these things are great, but it's what, 4 feet compared to 31 feet, so depends on where you are. This is another, we have these radials here that I can use it on that. What else do I have?
So I got a quick question. Does the Faraday cloth serve as the ground plane for that antenna?
Yes.
Okay.
But because this has, if you had rubber feet on your tripod, you'd have to have a clip going up
Okay.
to that.
Hey Lisa, what are you using for power supply?
Oh, I have my little, this is a Bio battery.
So what's this battery called again?
It's a Bio
N-O-E-N-N-O?
Yeah, Bioleno.
Okay.
I think it's 14, any guesses, 14 amp hour, 15 amp hour.
So is that a lead acid or?
No.
Lithium
Yeah,
ion phosphate.
lithium.
Lithium.
And that's, Julie and I have gone out, an F1T, we do sawgrass and so does Alex and a couple others. Every Sunday morning, we're at Sawgrass. And we've gotten 200 calls, both of us using the same mic and that battery, and it'll last about 3 hours. So it's hard to, if you were just one person, it would last a lot longer.
Lisa, do you have to let the park know you're there?
No. But a lot of the parks, they don't want you putting things in the ground. They don't want you tying masts to the side. He got me in trouble.
Throwing wires in trees that sometimes.
Yeah, throwing
does,
wires in
yeah.
trees. So there is a couple, but if you just have, something like this, it's not gonna hurt anything. If you just have your tripod out.
What's the most active band in your experience? The time you go there?
Well, it's 40 would start, cause we get there when the park opens at like 7:30, and then go to 20. So
you're getting the two bands, 40 and 20, you're getting activity from both of them? I know 10 and 15 have been opening up too, but
Right.
you're getting activity on 40?
And we've been getting the guy in Australia. We've got him a couple times from Sawgrass. I mean, can't get better than that. Can't get farther away before you start getting closer.
On the 17-foot whip.
Yeah.
So when you use the whip in the end-fed half wave, and the end-fed half wave, the end of the antenna is up on your pole, and it comes down as a slope, what do you use to anchor the onion at the end?
An electric fence post. I forgot to bring it with
An
me.
electric fence post, does that
Yeah.
stick in the ground?
Yep. They're
So do you get in trouble with that?
$1.50.
That was kind of like where I was, because I'm busy setting up the same thing, that's why I'm kind of asking, because I was gonna use like a 4-foot ground rod, just stick it in the ground and attach it to it with a bungee, just as a stake to hold it in the slope, and then take the coax over to where I'm gonna sit down.
Yeah.
But I was just wondering so you stick a stake in the ground.
Yeah, it only has a little thing on the bottom, but it has some place where you can put your foot to get it in the ground, and it has loops on it.
Okay.
So,
Like one of those green things from the garden section of the hardware store.
What's the band on that antenna on the tripod? I didn't catch that.
oh, this is, well, we can fully extend it for 20 meters.
Okay.
Shorten it for 10, 15.
And so that coil, that shorty 40 would go in between that and the base to,
Right.
so for 40 meters.
So what modes are you using?
I just use voice. Give me the mic and no one gets hurt. Julie does FTA, and we were doing CW for a while.
That's like the minimum that's required to be considered an activation, a successful activation, or just as an activation completely? I mean, I maybe lost or I missed something.
We have to have 10 contacts to have it a valid activation. Otherwise, it's a failed park in your law.
Okay.
I've submitted a couple of failed activations, just because they didn't want to let the park-to-parks down.
Right.
So.
So I've done.
Before 7 p.m. too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when UTC rolls over.
I've done 422 different parks, and I've done 750 something activations.
So you're doing worked all states the hard way.
I just have someone GoFundMe to Hawaii,
Or how about Alaska? I mean, I'm sure we have someone here who'll be able to tell you where to go in Alaska.
Paper log or computer?
Computer. I use the hammers. I was using paper. I always have a little logbook with me just in case.
What wattage are you using?
Probably 60.
And how big is this battery? How much, I know it's 12 volts, what's the capacity, how many amps?
I thought it was 15 amp hours.
The amps, 14 amps?
Yeah.
And that lasts like 3 hours continuous
Yeah.
use?
Per Pota regulations or rules, is there a limit on the amount of power you can use, like a maximum power?
we've run my amp to the Sawgrass a couple times.
Okay.
That
So-
was really fun.
Okay, so it's fair to say there is no limit.
There's really no,
Okay.
I think that battery's too big to fly with. Do you know the rules, Pat?
It's 100,
100 watt hour.
yeah.
Yeah, for lithium.
So,
Mine's 108 and they didn't care.
you didn't care?
But that was domestic, so.
It's hit or miss,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, can you check a bag that way? I mean, check the
No,
battery?
you
have to
can't.
carry it
I would
out.
imagine
You
not.
cannot check lithium ion batteries.
They combust, don't they?
Well, that's what
There
they're
have been some
concerned.
incidents in the past.
Lithium iron phosphate isn't likely to have a thermal runaway, but they've got rules about it, so you just gotta follow the rules.
Unfortunately, the rules just say lithium.
Yeah, exactly.
Lisa, you mentioned earlier you have an antenna just had the single counterpoise. Did you ever try that one?
No, we just made it today. So, it has one radial, and we were using this, and it has the radial, I don't have any of the information. I just saw it on, YouTube, a guy made it, so we did it today. So if the whip was for 15 meters, I think 11.9 feet. The counterpoise is 10.3 or something. And it gave us something to start with, and then we fiddled around with it. And then we put an insulator on it and another piece of, it was probably 7 foot of wire.
Wow.
So we could use it on 20. And then you raise the whip up to 12 feet and a half an inch.
Lisa, you said you're out at Sawgrass on Sunday mornings?
Sunday mornings.
Are you game for people to come out and?
Oh, sure. Yeah, everybody's welcome. We're at the big pavilion when you drive in.
How early?
It opens at 7 and there's usually, Julie's usually there at 7:30, not me. But I usually roll in by 8.
Where is that park located?
62nd Avenue East.
Just
There-
cross-
there was-
cross to the
Sawgrass
Highway
Park?
275.
Yeah,
There's a stoplight there.
right. And there's, the other parks are on the other side of, well, the Skyway is a park, it's like State Park. But on the other side of the Skyway, there's at least 10 parks right in that area to go to. The other ones near here, you have Honeymoon and Caladisi. And then you're getting into Wikiwachi and
Egmont Key.
Egmont.
How about
No,
Fred Howard?
No, it has to be a state park, yeah.
Oh, okay.
State or
Fred
federal?
Howard's not-
Or, yeah,
Okay.
or a wildlife management area.
Does it require you to have, I call this a field day setup versus, I mean, like I've got a big old telescoping mast on the back of my travel trailer. Is that legal? Or does it have to be a field day type setup?
No, you can, whatever you want, basically.
Basically,
Get it
Or
into the
be in a
park.
park?
You gotta be inside the park boundaries.
Okay.
So, sometimes it's worth double checking the map to see if it's like, is the place on the park actually inside the park or
Yeah.
not, but other than that.
You know, there's so many things you can do. When I go up to Cape Cod, I stop at the walkway over the Hudson. It's an old railroad bridge, and it's 220 feet above the Hudson River. So I sit on one of the little benches and throw my end-fed upside down off the bridge. And
That's cool.
it's amazing how many calls you get. It's just a constant pileup. So it's just fun, just different things you can do.
What do you usually use for wattage, by the way? I was just kind of curious. Do you just keep it like 10 watts or?
Like 60.
Oh, 60, okay.
So the person getting, I mean, there's quite a few people here that are interested in Pota, including myself. So what would be the basic, set of equipment or that you would recommend a person getting started? Because I know you have quite an array of
Yeah.
things here.
I would just go with a end-fed and, mast or throw it in a tree.
And the radio itself, or the power, battery?
Well,
Big
I got
battery, small
the
battery?
891, in the car I have a 706. And I have I took the faceplate off and put a magnet on the back of the faceplate and stuck it on I should have come to the car show. On a phone mount. And then I have it, the extended wire, so I can have it all in the back seat. And then I can play, so when if I got to a park and it was nasty, I could just throw a hamstick on the back of the car. And not have to do, now if you're doing, I think 7 parks or 8 parks was the most I did in one day. And, you know, it's just, you're only gonna get like 12 or 15 and get the heck out of there, because you have, you know, I've gone up to Gainesville and done a lot of parks. It's 3 hours up to the first park. So, you know, you don't wanna set up a whole, you know, if you go to Sawgrass, you're gonna sit there for 3 hours and put up whatever you want.